So the results are in from Karl Jobst and Billy Mitchell, and it is fucking sad to see that Billy Mitchell has won his defamation case and wins 275 big ones. Ugh, fuck, bro. This shit has been going on for like actually years now, and we were all waiting for Billy to just collect another L, and unfortunately that's just not how it worked out. Yeah, the news on April 1st was really the cherry on top, honestly. Like, what a great April Fool's joke. Like, I wasn't there to watch the live verdict along with Karl Jobst and his audience, but I imagine people watching that on April 1st were probably just waiting for the judge to say psych and then just start doing like a Fortnite emote. Honestly, the reaction to the news what really surprised me. So let's get into that real quick. So the reaction to it honestly really surprised me because a lot of people actually ended up turning against Karl, and that was not something that I expected, and I'll get into that in a minute. But first I have this article up from Kotaku, very reliable source I know. Former Donkey Kong champion Billy Mitchell won his defamation lawsuit against speedrunning YouTuber Karl Jobst in Australia on Monday over claims published in videos that blamed Mitchell for the death of another YouTuber, said YouTuber being the late Apollo legend who took his own life following several years of, I believe, physical health issues. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, this was the thing that really rubbed people the wrong way, and was something that I actually was surprised by. Not that this was a lawsuit about, but more so that people didn't know that this was a lawsuit about. And I'm not blaming anyone for that, just we're gonna get into it. Basically, if you were paying attention to the lawsuit as it was happening, I feel like it was hard not to know what the lawsuit was about. It wasn't about Billy Mitchell suing Karl for saying that he cheated in video games. It was about Billy Mitchell suing Karl for saying that he caused the death of another person, which are two very different things. And I believe a lot of people sort of had the idea that the lawsuit was about the former, that Billy Mitchell was just, doing what Billy Mitchell does, trying to smack down anyone who says he cheated on high scores. Like, hey,
I have a fucking billion score in Donkey Kong. I'll fucking kill you if you say otherwise.
But no, it was just Billy being like, hey, I didn't cause a sick kid to take his own life. I just tried to sue him into the ground and made him never say my name again unless he wanted to shell out a million big ones. God, I hate Billy so much. That's not defamatory, by the way. It's not defamatory. I'm just stating an opinion. It's not defamatory to say that I don't like you, Billy. I don't. So yeah, we can see here in his latest community post, he apparently posted a video last night, or it must have been last night because I didn't see it go up. I must have been asleep. So he apparently posted a video that had nothing to do with the lawsuit and then just took it down after he realized that everyone was kind of mad at him, which is... Even if people weren't mad at him, that is such a funny thing to do. Like, your house is literally on fire behind you, meanwhile you're just like, hey guys, Elon Musk is actually a shitty gamer. But yeah, no, you can see the reactions here. Can't wait to see Karl Jobst cover the Karl Jobst scandal. Karl Jobst's downfall wasn't on my 2025 bingo card. Textbook definition of you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. This is exactly the kind of thing you'd excoriate? I've never heard that word before. So yeah, people are really not happy with Karl, and it is something that honestly I was surprised by. So the real question now is, did Karl lie? No. Kind of. It's really difficult because it's equal parts people being uninformed on the lawsuit and Karl capitalizing on those people being uninformed. So a lot of people didn't know that you actually could see what was happening in the lawsuit in real time. Like, all the information was public, and I was getting a lot of my updates from this channel, Lus. I think that probably stands for something. Let's unsubscribe. But yeah, no, if you actually watch these updates as they were happening, you would know that the lawsuit was about Apollo Legend and the statements Karl made regarding Apollo Legend. Which statements, by the way, a lot of people didn't even know existed because Karl actually cut them out from the original video, the biggest con man in video game history. Like, there was a section there about what Billy Mitchell did to Apollo Legend and the lawsuit that he filed against him, but he cut out the part where he actually made the defamatory statement. So a lot of people didn't even know that statement existed. And because of that, now a lot of people are getting blindsided, including people who are even close to Karl. Like, some ordinary gamers who is friends with Karl apparently didn't even know that this is what the lawsuit was about.
This entire lawsuit is kind of a bombshell for me, because I was wondering the whole time, like, it's probably got to do with all the cheating stuff, right? This is not stuff that I really was privy to. Everything about this section of the lawsuit kind of feels new to me, right? Because when I read a statement like that...
Yeah, you see, like, people even close to Karl didn't know that this is what the lawsuit was about. Another person who acted as a character witness in Karl's defense was Moist Critical, and I don't know if he even knew what the lawsuit was about. It just seems like a lot of people weren't properly informed on what this lawsuit was about. People had the misconceived notion that it was about Billy Mitchell's cheated video game scores when it really wasn't. And the information was out there. Like as the trial was happening, you could see what the lawsuit was about. And the thing was, Karl did say that the lawsuit wasn't about video games.
I have never spoken about what the lawsuit is actually about. I haven't led anyone to believe anything. I've said that I'm being sued for defamation, but I've never talked about the specifics of the lawsuit, and I won't talk about them until the lawsuit is over. However, I will say that Billy Mitchell being a video game cheater is extremely relevant to the lawsuit. Billy Mitchell being happy about a Polo legend dying is extremely relevant. Billy Mitchell abusing the legal system is extremely relevant.
Yeah, so there he says once, I think possibly the only time he's clarified that the lawsuit isn't about video game high scores. But that's also not really a get-out-of-jail-free card, though, because he made, like, I want to say over, like, 15 videos about Billy Mitchell and his cheated scores. So really, he didn't lie about what the lawsuit was about, and he didn't intentionally mislead people. However, I think the problem here is an issue of framing. Karl Jobst knew that people were uninformed on what the lawsuit was about, and I think the fact that he framed so much of it around Billy Mitchell's lies about his video game high scores, about his business relations, about the fraud he committed, about his frivolous lawsuits, I think all of that sort of led people into believing that the lawsuit was more so about those things than about this one very specific thing. And I don't know, man. Here's the thing. In a vacuum, I think that's whatever. Like, I don't think that, like, makes him a bad person or anything, or, like, forever destroys his credibility. However, the problem is that he raised... How much fucking money did he raise? Hold on. He raised 200,000 Australian dollars from 5,300 donors. So a lot of these were just like normal, ordinary people, like just his fans. So I think the fact that he wasn't transparent about what this lawsuit was about before asking his fans for money is a really, really bad look. Like, I know this wasn't his intention, but he did sort of capitalize on how uninformed his fans were. And I think that was a mistake, honestly. Like, if Karl was covering someone else, like, he would be grilling the shit out of him for that. I think that is a totally fair sentiment to have. And he has grilled people for actions like that in the past. The first thing that comes to mind is the whole Dream cheating scandal. A big part of that was that Dream was capitalizing on how uninformed his fans were and just weaponizing them against people. Meanwhile, people who were against Dream were weaponizing how uninformed their fans were, yada, yada, yada. So Karl knows how powerful that as a manipulation tactic is. And whether intentional or not, he did use that for his own benefit, for his legal defense. And I think that is a really bad look. I understand that this whole process was really expensive, and the $200,000 is probably really a small fraction of what his legal costs ended up being, especially now that he's lost. But he still took that money from normal fans, and I think that's just, like, not great, man. But yeah, Billy, for the first time, I think really ever, scored the fucking W, and is getting paid out 200,000 big ones, plus his legal fees because of how Australian court system works. It's just so frustrating because Billy Mitchell is the biggest piece of shit, and I know he's going to be riding this high for literally the rest of his life. Anytime someone goes to question his high scores or his frivolous lawsuits or how bad of a person he is going to point to this lawsuit and is going to say,
well, I won that lawsuit against Karl Jobst, so clearly I'm an infallible character.
When he's not. he's still a piece of shit. He's still a video game cheater. He still has bad hair. He still sucks at video games. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. Him and putting him through lawsuit probably was a climb that led to him. In my opinion, I'm not saying that he caused a. I'm just saying that he did something that negatively impacted a. That's not defamatory. That's a fact. And I just feel like Karl Jobst handled this so poorly. Again, if you watched the updates as they were coming out, a lot of things went wrong on Karl Jobst's side legally. Like, it's really like if fucking Goji here called me a mean name, and so I turned around and snapped his neck in half, killing him. But then I told you guys, like, hey guys, Mega Goji said really mean things to me, and now he's suing me. So I'm going to need your help, while completely omitting the fact that I took a man's life. Again, he did say approximately once that the lawsuit wasn't about video games, but I just don't think that was enough. He was not nearly transparent enough about what this lawsuit was. And I think that if he makes a video addressing everything and doesn't take accountability for that, that's going to be an even worse look. And I think that would be the thing that destroys his credibility. Ultimately, I'm withholding judgment until Karl makes a response video, but if he doesn't handle that well, that could be a reputational nuke for him. What if he sues Billy Mitchell for defamation? Just like, hey, you suing me for ruining your reputation ruined my reputation! Give me back my money, you son of a bitch! Oh, either way, it's just a sad sight to see. Because, again, I was a huge fan of Karl Jobst, and I loved every time he posted a Billy video. I would scream and cheer and clap and say, yay! But now with how things have turned out, it's just so unfortunate. And I know Billy Mitchell is going to be so annoying. And you know what? I'm not going to see any of it. Because Billy Mitchell is such a fucking nobody, he will never come up on my radar ever again after this. So congrats, Billy, for the 400,000 big ones.